What is racism? And yeah, you're thinking, what a stereotypical way of starting a school project, but I think it's a valid question. What is racism? Like, if that's a stupid question in this class, okay. This is a rough start. Racism is complicated. If there's one thing I've learned is that racism is complicated and can be expressed in so many ways. 200+ page books amount of ways, and there's more books about it obviously out there. Racism isn't just I don't like black people because their skin is different than mine. It's ingrained in our society to the point where most people don't know that they even have any racial biases. Throwing it to my man Kendi, racism is like a cancer, and most people have stage 4 racism and are one checkup away from a diagnosis. The problem is that racism is scary, just like cancer. Sorry to steal Kendi's point again, but it's a good point. Just like cancer, it's scary to find out you have racism. We're taught that racist people all look like this, and are the worst people that ever exist. But racist people can look like this. Okay, well, that's me. But it's true. Racist people aren't comical supervillains. They're normal people with unchecked biases. Racism dwells in all of us due to just how we're raised and how we're raised not to look at how we're raised. Throwing it to my top girl, oh god, D'Angelo, we're raised not to think we're racist. So when people point it out, we're really defensive. Racism is a huge zit. Okay, well, this section title doesn't really line up with the others nicely, but I like the analogy. Racism is a zit. We're not supposed to say when other people have them, and when we do, they get embarrassed and try really hard to cover it up, at least when you're younger. Maybe I need to rename this section. Racism is a huge zit in like 7th grade when zits are real embarrassing. There, okay. It's hard to get told you have a zit, and we don't like it in the moment, at least in 7th grade. But when you know about it, you can go to the bathroom, take a long look at yourself in the mirror, and pop it. Popping it is like analyzing your own racism. The pus is racism itself. The mirror is racism is gray. We think of people as racist and not racist. Everything we looked at actually said, no, it's not this and this, it's this. It's a spectrum. People have an amount of racism. They aren't racist and not racist. That's D'Angelo's point. I think the joy of acknowledging racism as gray is that you can acknowledge your racism without having to be grouped immediately with this guy. D'Angelo also said white supremacy should be more of a blanket term for white people having places of power, but the word was kind of chewed up and spit back out by people who say stuff like this.
The Aryan nation will rule the world!
So I think racism being non-binary is great, but white supremacy being a blanket term is eh. Not to pat myself on the back too much, but I think I defined racism pretty clearly. So using this knowledge, we can answer one question. How do you solve racism? Using Kendi and D'Angelo and my big brain, I have come up with a few steps to stop racism. It's no How to Be Anti-Racist by Ibram, God, I hope I'm saying that right, Kendi book, but it's something. Step 1, look outside. Look at the world around you. Look at its diversity. Diversity that exists. Being colorblind is not good. You can obviously see, oh, a white man. Oh, a black man. Oh, an Asian man. Even though we didn't really talk about Asian people, but they exist too. They're out there. The only thing being colorblind accomplishes is it lets you avoid the problems on the outside. So look outside. It's a beautiful, diverse world, and it's possible to see and embrace diversity without ranking everyone on a scale from best to worst color. Blue is obviously the best color, by the way. Step 2, look inside. You have to be able to look at yourself and see your own racial biases. If you're saying, oh, I don't see race, so I don't have racial biases, then you're still on step 1. So rewind the video, and we don't have time for you, okay? Go back, Jesus. You might have passed step 1 and are saying, yeah, race exists, but I treat everyone equally. Then great, but you're still missing the point. We all have racial biases, so admit it. Come on, just say it. You have racial biases, or maybe you don't, and I'm generalizing, but at least allow yourself to honestly go inside and look around for them, because you can't find earwax without sticking a finger in your ear. Or a Q-tip. Step 3, talk about it. Talk about the problems in the world. Spread the word about the first 2 steps. If we actively make people aware of their own problems, then we'll be in a better place. It's also a matter of explaining the intricacies of racism and not just going up to someone and saying, you have racial biases and white privilege. These discussions can't be 4 words long because society doesn't change easily. These are long, uncomfortable conversations. D'Angelo's list can help give you the proper language to make these discussions as easy as possible. In conclusion, I guess what I learned from this class is that online classes that tell you to read 2 books and talk about them are hard. This is my little rant portion. Hi. I kind of knew all this stuff. I think I knew all this stuff. But these books help put those feelings and expressions into words, which is good. So have a good Christmas and stay anti-racist. Hey, yo.